They are coming up against it in Milwaukee. And so when you see this injury, I think the common sense thing is, well, now the Bucks are screwed. But this actually, when you talk to folks around the league, may have opened a window for the Bucks to keep Giannis. And let me try to explain why. This team was not going anywhere this year. Now, whether or not they wanted to admit that, whether Doc Rivers wanted to admit that, or whether Giannis wanted to admit that is another story. They were 500 with Giannis in the lineup. As you mentioned, Shae, they're 3-11 without him. With Giannis now out, he cannot win any of the awards. This team is not going anywhere. They have a pathway, if they want, to pivot to a tank. Right now, if the season ended right now, they would have the 8th best chance to advance in the lottery. And they are going to get worse. And now it is absolutely true that they don't own their pick control this year. They have a swap situation. But the swap is with New Orleans, who has got, if not the worst record, the second worst record in the league. If the Bucks tank and tell Giannis to take the rest of the season off, they are giving themselves position with either their pick or New Orleans pick to have a top 5-6 pick, maybe 7-8 pick. And this summer, that right now they could only trade one first-round pick if they were trying to improve this team. If they wait till July, they could trade 3 first-round picks, and potentially they could draft a top player in this draft, and they could come back to Giannis and say, Giannis, will you reconsider? Now, the teams in the league still think that there's a chance that the Bucks are going to trade Giannis. In fact, Milwaukee was on the phone with teams yesterday talking about trade situations, not with Giannis, but with other players. They're still actively looking for trades. But this, believe it or not, I know it's counterintuitive, but this actually opens a way that they can offer another pathway to Giannis to try to improve the team. Whether Giannis wants to take it or not is another story, but I think it's worth pointing out. And I also think that's why Doc Rivers said yesterday, no timetable. Giannis says, I know it's 4 to 6 weeks. They said no timetable for a reason, to leave their options open.
Go ahead, Big Perk.
Whitney, respectfully, I don't want to hear about pathways or highways. It's time to exit. It's time to exit. It's time to end this relationship. And I don't want to hear about what could possibly happen. I don't want to hear about what could happen. I want to hear about it for sure. You know what a for sure is? You know what? They got this guy by the name of Alfred Şengün down there with the Houston Rockets right now. And when you look at the Rockets, they kind of in the thick of things, but they're not really showing that they could get past a OKC or San Antonio or Denver Nuggets. But if they make a move and go get Giannis Antetokounmpo and make a trade centered around Şengün and maybe throw in a guy like Torrey Eason and some picks, and you bring Giannis to the H-Town with KD and Amen Thompson, and you talk about moving a needle, because the Rockets went all in my opinion, as far as gambling and taking a bet when they traded for KD, and then they re-signed him, saying basically over the next 2 years we want to try to win the championship. Well, getting Giannis Antetokounmpo moves the needle more than Alfred Şengün, and you know I'm a huge Şengün fan. But who says no in that trade, S.A.? Does Milwaukee say no? I believe not. Okay then. So if I'm Giannis and I'm the Bucks, instead of worrying about what the Pelicans might do and who controls this pick, I know what I could get from the H-Town right now, and I could get a guy that's proven and that's on the rise, and that's in Alfred Şengün.
I totally agree with you, Big Perk. You got to make, first of all, let's get one thing out of the way. The Milwaukee Bucks have to make a move before this trading deadline. Do not wait until the summer. You got to make a move now, period, okay? The crowd was booing. Giannis is booing back. The love affair is over. You don't have – this is the problem. I understand that the Milwaukee Bucks have tried, but look at the roster around them. Look at the plus-minus of these cats. When you take away Giannis and then A.J. Green, and look at everybody else. Everybody else is a flagrant minus. You got cats that are minus 250, 280, 300 for crying out loud on their roster right now. When you talk about, they don't have anything around him, okay? Drew Holiday is gone, all right? Middleton's gone. Lillard's gone. You don't have the same – I mean, you just look at this squad. They're done. And you put nothing around Giannis right now. It's time to end this. And you don't wait until this summer, okay? You do it now. The Houston Rockets, you brought up that. You absolutely have to consider that. He ain't going to the Knicks unless he says, I don't want to go anywhere but to the Knicks, and then the Knicks somehow, some way work out some multi-team deal. in order to get him. But the point is, there are assets out there, whether it's from one source or multiple sources collaborating to make a deal like this happen. There are assets that you got to get. You know, Milwaukee Bucks, you can't lose him for nothing. I know he's got a year before, 2 years from now, he's got a player option. But the fact is, he clearly doesn't want to be there, and you're not going anywhere with him. And the allure from the crowd in Milwaukee has dissipated dramatically, okay? We all know that. So because of that, this is a perfect opportunity to veer. Doc Rivers ain't going to be there. It ain't about him getting fired. Remember, when he first took the job, he sat up there and talked about 2-3 years max, and he was up out of here. He ain't trying to stick around for this. He's going to get his coaching pension and all. He's been around forever. All right, so he'll be all right. Find somebody, the right successor for the job. He'll move the hell on. He knows what time it is. You're the Milwaukee Bucks. It's about maximizing Giannis's potential in terms of the assets that he can get for you in return for his services. You have to do that now if you're the Milwaukee Bucks. There is no way around this. You do not wait for this summer. You do not wait until next year.
Now, do you think that they could wait until the summer, or do you think that there might be a move before the deadline?
As you guys are describing how bad the Bucks are, I will just point out this is a team primed to tank. They are primed to tank. Their situation is right there. And no matter what they do with Giannis, their priority has to be the draft. Even if it's trading Giannis, they've got to prioritize the draft. This is a generational draft. They've got to try to start either, whether it's rebuilding or whether it's adding pieces to a Hail Mary to keep Giannis. It's going to be through the draft. I don't think this is likely, but it is not impossible that they could end up with a top 4 pick with their pick, because both their pick and the Pelicans pick end up in the top 4. That could happen. And so if once you do that, you have to make the decision. Can we get a better deal for Giannis now, or can we get a better deal in the summer? And in a position like the Rockets have a lot to offer, Perk, but they can't offer a top 5 pick this year. The Bucks could set themselves up. If they trade for Şengün, they're going to start winning games. They got to forget about this season for the Bucks. The tank is now on the table for them, and the tank plus Giannis is what they're looking at.
Hold up, Wendy.
This is a team that's mortgaged itself. Yeah.
Wendy, did you just say they get Şengün, they're going to start winning games? They ain't winning with Giannis. What you mean they're going to start winning games with Şengün? They're going to lose with him?
They'll be 500. That's not going to help. Stephen A., they need to win like 4 more games the rest of the season.
So, Wendy, I think what I'm reading correctly, it says that Giannis injured his calf on Friday. It don't look like, to me, it says that he tore his Achilles and he's out for the season with season-ending surgery. So that means Giannis Antetokounmpo wants to come back. Giannis Antetokounmpo wants to play basketball. Why am I highlighting this?
Why would he?
Because it's time for Giannis. But I'm saying, Giannis, it's time. You said last week that the Bucks are basically calling Giannis's bluff. Well, Giannis need to go ahead and stand on this and tell him that he wants out right now. We're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, a generational talent. And this is my message to Giannis. Hey, bro, no one is going to be mad at you. You have done everything for the city of Milwaukee. Everything. Championships, when it comes down to the economy, new arena, all this, new restaurants, everything. No one is going to be mad at you. No one is going to give you the side eye.
There's another reason that the Milwaukee Bucks might want to move Giannis sooner than later. See, that's a calf injury.
Second one this year.
Second one this year. And the belief
Fourth
is
in 19 months.
And fourth in 19 months. The belief is, in most instances, you've got to guard that tremendously so, because that's the kind of thing that could lead to the Achilles. Now, I don't know that. I'm no doctor. I'm not trying to pretend.
So many
I'm not trying to pretend it. But here's all I'm going to say. KD had it.
Halliburton.
This past offseason alone. Halliburton in the finals. Tatum in the playoffs. Yep. Okay, Lillard in the playoffs. I mean, listen, you got to watch this kind of stuff. So if you're Milwaukee, it's 4 times in 19 months that this guy has had to nurse his calf. He's over 30 now. Man, get him up out of there. Get him up out of there. And if you the team that inherits him, you guard that with your life, because you don't need Giannis. Giannis ain't some shooter. He ain't Steph Curry launching from 40 or something like that. This dude's game is predicated on his athleticism, his running ability, his jumping ability, etc. An Achilles tear, potentially, and I ain't wishing on it because Giannis one of the top 5 players on the planet. I ain't wishing that on anybody. Please don't get me wrong. We're just discussing reality here. You don't want something like that to happen to him, so you got to guard it with your life.
Yeah, no one wants.
You got to think about that. Whatever team is going to inherit him, you got to think about those 4 calf injuries in the last 19 months, y'all.
Yeah,
you got to think about that.
He said he really felt
All
it
the
in
more
that
reason to
last
say see ya in the summer and tank.